Well, it looks better than last time.
Do you think so?
I'll get it. Oh, hello. Please, come in.
Do you want one or both?
Both.
Could I at least finish my drink first, lads?
My name is Agent Baker. You've been brought here for questioning in a matter of utmost urgency.
I am Justice Robert Shea. With me are General Patrice Dion and Deputy Minister of Defense Abner Walker.
Is this a trial?
An agent of the Crown has been murdered, and an attempt was made on the life of our Prime Minister. This tribunal has been convened to learn the facts, but the usual oaths apply.
Except a violation of these oaths is not perjury, but treason.
Bring in the accused.
Térενς Μάιερς.
The evidence strongly suggests Agent Myers murdered Agent Morris and attempted to murder our Prime Minister by means of a poisoned butter tart.
What would possibly motivate me to murder my Prime Minister?
That is the purpose of this hearing, Agent Myers. It is your state of mind we wish to assess.
Detective Μέρντοχ, please tell us about the first time you encountered Agent Myers.
It was the summer of 1895. A local farmer had died under mysterious circumstances.
What do we have, George? Henry Gaston. Suicide, eh? Why call for me? Well, actually, sir, upon arriving at the scene, I realized I should check for the victim's footprints to eliminate foul play. However, there were none.
No footprints.
No. Curious. So just how did you get into that tree, Mr. Gaston?
Our investigation led us to the Rouge Valley Lands Company and Mr. Myers. Mr. Myers told us the company wished to purchase the land to build a dam.
Our plan was to dam the Rouge River here, where we would then build an electrical generating station.
That would flood all of the lands in the valley.
Which is why we had to buy it all up.
In truth, no dam was planned.
Do you hear that noise?
Sounds like an engine of some sort.
Oh, bloody hell.
The Canadian government intended to use the land to test a weaponized dirigible.
Let the record show. Detective Μέρντοχ is referring to Project X9. Agent Myers was the lead on that project. Detective, did Agent Myers kill anyone in the course of that operation?
Claude Benoit was a French agent operating on our soil against our interests. And he shot first.
This query is not about the right of an agent to neutralize an enemy of Canada. This is about the soul of a man who is accused of a crime which required the abandonment of conscience. Now, Dr. Ogden, you performed a post-mortem. Could you tell us what happened to Monsieur Benoit?
He had been eviscerated. As suspected, the victim's internal organs have been completely removed.
So they made a hole and then pulled his guts out through it.
The hole was too small to accommodate a hand.
Yes, well, they probably have some sort of special tool.
Perhaps a tube was inserted into the incision and the contents drawn out that way.
That was my idea, actually. See that machine behind you? We use it to rapidly deflate the dirigible. It didn't take much adjustment to use it for something else.
You sucked a man's guts out.
It was a matter of practicality, a means to an end.
As for the crimes for which you are accused, no, This wasn't the only time you encountered Agent Myers.
No, it wasn't.
How many times in all?
12 times.
Do you trust him?
Not bloody likely. Everything he says is a lie.
Not everything. Perhaps most things.
It's the purpose of spycraft to deceive. But I ask you, all of you, does anyone in this room doubt my commitment to my country, my job, or to Mr. Laurier?
Let's talk about Mr. Laurier. Detective Murdoch, could you please tell us when you first met our Prime Minister?
Yes. We had uncovered a plot to send gold bullion to the Confederacy.
4179. It's Myers here, put him on. Yes, sir, it's as we feared, I'm afraid. No, sir, I think you'd better come to us. Thank you, sir. Well, that was my boss, and he's coming to speak to you.
Bloody hell.
Gentlemen, allow me to introduce Sir Wilfrid Laurier.
Prime Minister.
Sir?
Gentlemen, we need to talk.
And can you describe the relationship you witnessed between Agent Myers and Prime Minister Laurier?
It was professional. There was mutual respect.
But that would not always be the case, would it?
No.
Can you tell us about the events that happened after the assassination of President McKinley?
Agent Myers had been accused of killing an informant who had sold the gun that was used to shoot President McKinley.
Look, cable Prime Minister Laurier's office. Let him know exactly what's going on here. I guarantee you, I will be out by day's end.
But that's not what happened.
No, it wasn't. Read this.
In light of his completely unsanctioned actions, Agent Térence Meyers is hereby placed in Mr. Clegg's custody. To be tried in the United States for espionage against our close and great ally, Prime Minister Wilfrid Laurier. They're cutting me loose, Murdoch.
So it would appear.
If I go down there, they'll hang me.
I was innocent. Mr. Laurier apologized. The incident was forgotten.
But the relationship was never quite the same, was it? Could you tell us about the next time you encountered our Prime Minister?
A rocket was aimed at New York City. Had it been fired, we would have been at war. Canada was being held ransom.
Are you suggesting I would choose destruction of my country over my career?
No, not at all, sir. I regret if you inferred that I was inferring that...
Enough. You're a good spy, Myers. Your skills as a toady are sadly lacking.
Would you say the relationship you originally witnessed between Agent Myers and Prime Minister Laurier had been eroded?
I suppose.
And what happened to Agent Myers at the conclusion of this case?
What?
What is it?
He's inside the rocket. What? What the devil is he doing? Hey! Hey! No. He couldn't have. Ah! Oh my God! Myers! Myers!
Where was the rocket headed?
It was a low-orbit experimental flight destined for Borneo.
We thought he was a goner for sure.
But you did encounter him again.
Yes, 1 year later, we were searching for a Mr. X. He had changed.
The great rocket shook as I blasted through the atmosphere. The azure globe shimmered beneath me. Vast oceans roiling, entire continents within my view. I had flown higher than any living thing ever had. It was the greatest adventure ever known to man. And then, nothing. Blackness. Not only had I touched the face of God, I became God.
God.
I recall nothing of the descent. All I know is I awoke to the smiling faces of the Marut. I was now in Sabah, near the village of Nabawan. And in that village, I was no longer human. I was Ran Ying, supreme God, fallen from above.
He claimed he had come back to return to the Canadian government.
But that wasn't quite true, was it?
No, it wasn't.
This is absurd. I was welcomed back into the fold at the conclusion of that case.
But not as Agent First Class.
Is it your contention that I was motivated to kill our Prime Minister because I was demoted?
It is my contention that whatever respect and love you had once held for Mr. Laurier the man had long been lost. The motive to kill was much more banal. Agent Morris and Prime Minister Laurier had recently learned of an act of treason you committed 2 years ago. An act of treason in which all three of you were complicit.
That's bollocks.
A plot to assassinate the American president on Canadian soil.
Oh, that.
Please tell the Tribunal the story of the Great White Moose.
We just finished a lovely dinner.
I'm afraid I can only offer you this.
You saved my life. Allow me to pay for your meal.
Extraordinary. We were taken to a private room.
President Roosevelt.
Detective Murdoch and Dr. Ogden. Imagine my delight in seeing you here.
He'd recognized us from an incident during our honeymoon in New York. We'd saved his life. What brings you to Canada,
Yes.
Mr. President?
I am here to hunt the legendary white moose.
It turned out there was no moose. Never heard of such a thing.
You didn't think that worthy of mention?
He's in Canada to hunt the great white moose, which apparently returns to the same place at the same time every year. He showed me the geographic article, which I assume you got into his hands.
I should never have brought you into this. If my superiors were to discover that this was out...
Well, it is bloody out. And if you don't tell them, we will.
I'm afraid you can't do that.
Murdoch, get on the phone to the Prime Minister's office.
Yes, sir.
They know who we are. Tell them it's a matter of national security.
Switchboard. Police protocol. I'd like to call Ottawa, please. The Prime Minister's office. Thank you.
Prime Minister doesn't know about any of this.
Myers confessed that he had tricked the American president into coming up to Canada. He had gotten the idea from a book written by an imprisoned American agent about a Spanish assassin named El Noche.
An agent whose star has fallen finds a path to redemption.
Your star has fallen.
There were certain incidents during my time in Borneo that have somewhat darkened my reputation.
And how does tricking the American president into coming to Canada to hunt a moose restore that reputation?
Burgos was to fake an assassination attempt which I was to foil.
You copied Clegg's entire plot?
What was I supposed to know it was based on real life?
Carry on.
Naturally, Roosevelt would have been grateful that we had saved his life. Likewise, he would have been embarrassed that he had sneaked into Canada. This would have given Laurier an edge during reciprocity negotiations, and I would be restored to Agent First Class.
Unfortunately, it turned out the assassin was real. Would you look at that?
It's what I feared, gentlemen.
How do you mean?
That is a photograph of a document from the dossier that Burgos was carrying.
What does that mean?
It means that El Noche has all the information he needs to assassinate President Roosevelt himself.
But there was no El Noche, was there?
No. It was the American agent, Alan Clegg.
Clegg outwitted Agent Myers and very nearly killed President Roosevelt on Canadian soil. Had he succeeded, an investigation would have shown the hand of a government agent, and war could have resulted. A war that could have destroyed Canada. Small wonder you wanted to keep it a secret from your government.
Suppose Clegg will hang this time?
After our boys have had a chat with him, an extensive chat.
Sir, with regard to recent events, I'm of the opinion it serves both our interests.
That no one find out about this?
You did come to Canada without permission.
You almost arranged my assassination.
Shall we call it even, then?
I concur that history need not record this matter. But as for your Prime Minister...
He need not be apprised, sir.
All right. How long? How long have you known?
I was briefed by the Prime Minister this morning. Shortly after the butter tart you gave him was found to contain polonium.
Someone else could have done that. I'm not the only one with access to polonium.
You're the only one with motive. Until this morning, only 2 people knew about your treachery. Agent Morris, who is now dead, and the Prime Minister, who would be dead had he not given your butter tart to his dog.
Sir John is dead.
Yes.
I didn't know. I didn't know they knew about the moose.
Agent Morris delivered the news of your treachery to the Prime Minister by means of a secret memo. A memo which was later found hidden in your room.
These are evidentiary issues, which will be discussed separately.
Indeed. Agent Baker has established motive and mindset. Let's convene tomorrow.
Morris planted that memo. What you see what's happening here, Morris is the one behind all of this.
Did he arrange for you to kill him as well?
Remove the prisoner.
Thank you for your testimony. It has been most revealing.
Please escort these witnesses to their homes.
Where do you wish to be taken?
Station house number 4, please.
Station House 4. Yes, sir.
Police station, William? It's past midnight.
Do the 2 of you truly believe Térενς Mάιερς would kill Wilfrid Laurier?
I wouldn't have, but I do now.
She made a good case, William. Psychologically speaking, it was very convincing. He resented Laurier for the way he was being treated.
And if the moose story got out, his career would be over.
He winked a message at me in Morse code.
When?
As he was being taken away.
I thought it was a twitch.
D-D-E-N.
A code?
If it is, I don't know it.
Perhaps something only you would understand. Think about it, William. He winked out a message the whole room could have seen. It must have something to do with your shared history?
D.D.
E-N.
E-N?
E-N?
Yes.
Let me see that. Well, it can't be.
What can it be?
I've seen this before. I know this killer's work.
Who is it?
El Noche. Spanish for the night.
Perhaps Agent Myers was referring to El Noche.
The assassin that didn't exist.
Then what about the DD?
Project D has been activated. Unless payment of $4 million is made by 6 p.m. tomorrow, New York will burn.
He goes on to provide instructions on how payment is to be made.
What does D stand for?
Defense. Although Doomsday may be more appropriate.
Doomsday. Double D. There you have it.
But how does Pendrick's rocket and El Noche fit together?
I have no idea. If only I could speak with Myers.
Perhaps we should sleep on it, William?
Dead drop. Dead drop.
Agent Myers intended for you to find this.
Yes, but I have no idea what any of it means.
Potentials. Potential for what?
Should we be looking at all of this?
Polonium?
Polonium was in the butter tart that did for the dog.
He also writes about an assassination attempt on the Prime Minister. Was he planning it or trying to prevent it?
Morris involved. Baker? Who to trust?
Agent Baker.
You think she could be the assassin?
Agent Baker is here.
You are all under arrest for treason. Take them to headquarters. I witnessed Agent Myers communicating to Detective Murdoch, so I had him followed. He led us to a room at the Queen's Hotel, where he removed top-secret documents left there by Agent Myers.
What say you to these charges?
We didn't know they were top secret.
You engaged in a secret communication with a man accused of attempting to assassinate our Prime Minister. That alone is treason.
Well then, charge us.
Sir.
Let us defend ourselves in a real court. This is a democracy. Save your inquisition for someone else.
Sit down, Inspector.
These top secret documents, where are they now?
They're being analyzed.
A likely story.
I beg your pardon?
Those documents talked about an assassination plot using polonium.
Agent Baker was mentioned as possibly being involved.
Is this true?
I'm not the one on trial here.
No one is on trial here, Agent Baker. The very fact that you refer to it as such makes me doubt your impartiality.
Let us help. Let us see the evidence.
This is not a matter for the citizenry.
These three have been entrusted with the knowledge of state a dozen times. I see no reason not to entrust them again.
They've just committed treason.
What are you afraid they'll find, Agent Baker?
These are the results of the post-mortem on Agent Morris?
Yes. This is the memo Agent Morris sent to Prime Minister Laurier. It outlines the extent of Agent Myers' treasonous behavior in the matter of the Great White Moose.
And when did the Prime Minister receive this?
The night before last.
And that was found in Myers' room.
Hidden under the mattress. He clearly didn't want it to be discovered.
What is this?
It is a tattoo. We don't know what it means. These are the remnants of the poison butter tart and the result of the polonium test.
How do you know it was Agent Myers who placed it there?
Mr. Laurier's assistant saw him put it on his desk. Apparently, Myers was always leaving little gifts like that.
So you believe Agent Myers learned of this memo and then removed it from the Prime Minister's desk?
Then left a poisoned butter tart in its place.
Where was Agent Morris killed?
In his hotel room. His body was discovered the following morning. These photographs were taken from inside Agent Morris's room. He'd installed a secret camera. Now note the time. Agent Myers enters at 11:30. Agent Morris enters at 11:45. A single gunshot was heard around that time. Agent Myers left 5 minutes later. A single bullet fired from a Derringer was removed from Agent Morris's body. It matches those fired from a Derringer pistol we found in a sewer outside the hotel.
Thank you, Agent Baker. Please send in Agent Myers.
Pardon me. May I be allowed to conduct this interview?
Absolutely not. Detective Murdoch has already made secret communications with the accused. He's clearly sympathetic.
I am professional. I'm more than qualified. I am objective, and I believe that I am uniquely positioned to obtain a confession.
We are agreed. Please proceed with the interview, Detective Murdoch.
Agent Myers, where were you the night before last between the hours of 11:30 and midnight?
In my room, asleep. But I was awoken at midnight by a gunshot. Of course, he'd have a secret camera. This is not how it looks.
Well then, please, explain.
For the past 2 weeks, I have been tracking coded messages that were being transmitted from somewhere inside the West Block. It had something to do with polonium.
How exactly do we know that the killer is a spy?
Have you identified the poison that killed him?
No, its symptoms are not known to...
Polonium. Its devastating effects were discovered by the Germans. Highly radioactive, unclear why it's so deadly.
And this poison is only known to the spy community?
Exactly.
So you knew coded messages were being sent to an agent?
It suggested an assassination. The second message was a list. It contained the names of all of the Prime Minister's political enemies, nationalists and imperialists. I remember that Agent Morris was doing undercover work using extremists from both sides, so I decided to plant a listening device in his room.
And that's when he returned?
I hid, but he discovered me before I could escape. But instead of asking me what I was doing there, he pulled out his pistol. I fought for the gun. Looking back, I believe he intended to kill me all along.
Why is that?
Agent Morris originally conspired to assassinate the Prime Minister using a willing political enemy. But then he found out about the moose and realized I made the perfect patsy.
Are you telling us that you were aware of a plot to assassinate our Prime Minister and you didn't tell anyone?
I suspected a plot. I didn't know it was against the Prime Minister until after I was arrested.
And until after you had killed an agent of the Crown. What did you do then?
I went back to my room to clean up. I had blood spatter on my clothes, my face. It was a public hotel.
You weren't taken into custody for another 6 hours. Why did you not tell anyone then?
Because when he came into his room, I overheard a conversation he had with a co-conspirator. It was somebody in the hotel, on the government floor, perhaps one of us. I intended I should tell the Prime Minister first thing in the morning, but I was arrested en route.
But when you had the chance to tell the truth, you didn't. You continued to lie and lie and
Because
lie.
I didn't know who to trust. That's why I contacted you. I knew you would investigate. And here you are. You found the evidence I'd left.
Yes. Yes. Evidence you could have planted after the fact.
Come on, man. Come on. Whose side are you on?
On the side of the truth. Agent Myers, you do realize that we have only your word for any of this. And historically, you...
I lie! It's what I do. But I am telling the truth now, which means that there is an active plot to kill our Prime Minister. So either you doubt me, or you can help me find the conspirator.
How do you know Agent Morris placed a call to someone inside of the hotel?
I spoke to the switchboard operator. The call was made to an empty room.
Who else is staying in the hotel?
All his enemies.
All of what?
That's why we're in Toronto. Prime Minister Laurier is hosting a conference to find common ground between the nationalists and the imperialists. He's hated equally by both sides.
Well then, let's begin with the leader of the nationalists, Henri Bourassa.
Of course, I hate him. He has the spine of an eel. He knows the two nations are to be equal. Two strands woven into the same cloth. But now he's opened up the territories, and they're pouring in. Free land! Do they speak French? Pas du tout. Rien. But would I kill him? He's a political enemy. I will wound him, and I will watch the jackals from his own party finish him off.
Are there others in your cause that may feel more strongly?
The young are passionate, but enough to kill. Nah, Laurier is a likable man. I'm the only one who hates him, and that's professional.
Who is the leader of the Imperialists?
That would be Clifford Sifton. He's Minister of the Interior, longtime rival, happy to bury the hatchet as long as it's in Laurier's back. Rumored to have shouted at him in fury over the Catholic school issue.
I get a bit testy sometimes. Especially when the rights of the majority are being trampled. All for the sake of some political reality that no longer exists. The English are stronger. They're more numerous. It is their democratic right to express their will.
If Mr. Laurier were to die, you would then lead the party.
Well, you can't seriously be suggesting. Good God, man, I don't have to kill him to beat him. I can just watch the Nationalists do it all for me.
You belong to the Imperial Club?
Proud member. As are you, Robert.
No shame in flying the Union Jack alongside the Red Ensign.
Are there other members you know of who would be willing to do whatever it takes to see you become Prime Minister?
None that I know of. But there are clubs within clubs. What they speak of, I don't know. But there are hard feelings on both sides.
We checked the alibis of everyone on that list. Only Armand Laverne hasn't got one.
We need to talk to him.
That would not be wise.
Laurier just amended his expulsion from the Liberal Party.
That could constitute motive.
He is Laurier's son by his law partner's wife. It is not to be discussed with either man.
I won't mention it.
Mon Dieu. You think that I would kill
He banished you from the Liberal Party.
My expulsion was necessary. I'm a nationalist. My concerns are with Quebec, and I can assure you it is not in Quebec's interest to destroy Canada.
Destroy Canada?
We are all here, imperialist and nationalist, at the behest of one man. Wilfrid Laurier is the glue that holds this country together. Take him away, and it all come apart.
And if Canada breaks up, who benefits?
America, of course. She'll swallow up all the pieces.
Gentlemen and ladies, I believe I know who is behind all of this.
Manifest destiny. One country, from the Arctic Circle to the Tropic of Cancer. Many people believe in it, but only one man made it his singular obsession. And like any good spy, I had heard of him before I met him.
And if you're approached by this man, say nothing and inform me immediately.
I was already approached by him. His name is Turner. He's a reporter for the Gazette.
Reporter. His real name is Alan Clegg. He's an attaché with the American consulate, ergo a spy. What did he want?
What he wanted was Canada. But what he needed was an excuse for America to invade.
Myers.
Clegg.
We meet again, as they say. Open the strongbox.
We don't have the key.
Drill the lock, we'll blow it. Stand back, shield your eyes. Bricks. Nothing but damn bricks.
And when he couldn't prove that we had funded the Confederacy, he found another provocation.
In less than 5 hours, unless we can locate it first, a missile will be fired from Canadian soil towards America.
A missile? What kind?
A rogue minister has built a missile capable of reaching New York City.
Purely for defensive purposes.
But now someone has killed the minister and is threatening to fire said rocket.
What will it be carrying?
Approximately 200 pounds of TNT.
We're telling you now so that arrangements can be made on the ground to minimize loss of life.
I can say without rancor that while America appreciates your candor, if this rocket is fired and lives are lost, a state of war will exist between the United States and Canada. Of course it was Clegg that built the rocket.
What is it exactly about our humble little country that you want so badly?
Have you heard of Svante Arrhenius?
The Swedish scientist who predicted that carbon dioxide emitted from coal burning would warm global temperatures by 8 degrees by the end of the century?
In 100 years, when America is nothing but a boundless desert, Canada will have the ideal climate. How could I not do everything I could to save my country?
By bombing your own people?
It was aimed at the Irish sector.
Alan Clegg, you are under arrest for the murder of Minister Fergus.
You seem to have forgotten I have diplomatic immunity.
Our Prime Minister had a little chat with your president earlier. Immunity's been waived.
We were supposed to hang him ourselves, but we didn't.
If I put my gun down, you'll shoot the president and flee. I can't let you do that. You shoot him, and I will shoot you.
I'm surprised at you, Clegg. How did you not think this through? You betrayed me. You betrayed America.
I'm a patriot. A patriot! Unlike all of you pacifists who refuse to see that America can have everything it wants, it just needs a reason to take it.
Which you are about to provide.
I'm gonna kill you both, and then disappear, and let the evidence speak for itself.
Killing the Prime Minister to hasten the political destruction of Canada is exactly what Clegg would want.
This is all pointless speculation. The Prime Minister will request proof of what has become of this man, Clegg.
Let's reconvene in the morning.
Clegg is dead. Hanged October 7th, 1906.
These were taken after the post-mortem. They've completed the Y section.
So he is dead?
Very much so. It's definitely Alan Clegg.
I'm quite sure.
Look at the right eye. It was hit with shrapnel. It looks like he lost it.
Proof enough for me.
So where does that leave us now?
At an impasse, I'm afraid. I believe it is time we speak to the Prime Minister himself.
Let me see if I've got this straight. Poisoned butter tart was delivered by Agent Maiers. But he insists it was actually poisoned by Agent Morris, who Maiers then killed. There's, of course, no proof of any of this. We only have Maiers' word for it, the value of which has diminished markedly the last few years. Look into this Morris business. See that he's locked up. No! Take him away! Come on! Look at him! Look at Jay!
William, remember the police report on Pendrick's death?
The first sign of polonium poisoning is rapid hair loss.
Can't be. It was in his class, not mine.
Did you touch the polonium with your hands?
Help me.
Why? Why did you do it?
Because you. Damn you.
Maiers, you saved my life.
Just doing my job, sir.
And these are Shay's letters.
To his fellow British imperialists.
He was a radical. I can't believe it. Mr. Shay came highly recommended as a moderate. That's why I assigned him to the tribunal.
Who recommended him, sir?
It was Morris.
Was Morris an imperialist?
Morris worked closely with radical elements from both sides.
Sir, we found correspondence suggesting he was radicalized by the imperialists.
So in the end, it was political. Yes, they want Sifton to be prime minister, but my grip on the party is still strong. They were impatient.
Did you find her attractive?
Who?
Have we met any other women in the last 3 days?
Agent Baker. Well, I suppose, objectively speaking.
She was flirting with you.
Was she?
Oh, please.
You aren't jealous, are you?
Not at all.
Oh. Very good, then.
The Morris correspondence was identified and confiscated. They believe this to be an internal matter.
Good. Our hand in this matter can never be revealed.
Why do you conceal it?
Because it's only for the eyes of those who wear it. Ray, I trust you. You wouldn't be here if I didn't.
Does it stand for Clegg? Or?
Do you think me that vain? It stands for Colombia.
The country?
Our country. The United States of America.
I don't...
Colombia is the personification of America.
Like Uncle Sam?
Uncle Sam is this jingo southern clown. Colombia is an angel, bringing the light of American progress and power to every shore on our continent.
Even Mexico?
No, just Canada. It's Canada we want. Someday, she will be ours.